Good evening, everybody. Today in this video, I would like to discuss about the Article 37 of the CIG, which allows the seller to remedy any lack of conformity or deliver any missing part before date for delivery, provided this doesn't cause the buyer unreasonable inconvenience or expense. So the Article 37 that and the commentaries on it that was given by Schechtreim and Schwestner emphasize that the seller has the unrestricted right to cure defects if delivery is premature, provided it is like reasonable and doesn't cause undue inconvenience to the buyer. And these authors noted that while Article 37 allows for multiple attempts to remedy like defects before the due to date, and seller must bear the cost of any unreasonable expenses incurred by the buyer during this process. With respect to other author, that was Stefan Kral, where he allows the seller to remedy on non-conformity of prematurely delivered goods until the original delivery date, as long as it doesn't cause the unreasonable inconvenience or expenses. This right to cure doesn't affect the buyer's ability to claim damages for any losses incurred due to its initial nonconformity. And the last commentaries was given by Enderlein and Muskel. And here, the seller's right to remedy nonconformity extends until the original delivery date and on the period for delivery, and can only be exercised if it doesn't cause unreasonable inconvenience or expenses to the buyer. They highlight that the buyer's right to claim damages remain unaffected by the seller's remedy action, which means the buyer can still seek compensation for any losses due to the initial nonconformity. And with respect to cases, I found the three cases here. The first case was in the French Court of Cassation, so it was in France in the 2005, and here the court upheld a ruling that the parties had tactically excluded the application of the CIG by invoking the French domestic sales law in their dispute over defective with killer product. The Article 37 of the CIG is very important here, which allows the seller to remedy if defects was deemed irrelevant because the parties had voluntarily opted out of the CIG provision, and thus reinforcing the importance of clearly stating the choice of the applicable law in international sales contract. What about the other case that I found before? Here, the Tribunal of the International Commercial Arbitration of Russian Federation in 1994. And here, the Russian buyer couldn't refuse to pay for chocolate and delivered by the Swiss seller, despite the seller's breach of the contract terms regarding that the banker guarantee. The tribunal emphasized that while the Article 37 of TIG permits the buyer to seek compensation for damages caused by such breaches, the buyer's failure to claim damages didn't justify non-payment for the delivered goods. And with regard to case number 3 that happened in the Barcelona Provincial High Court in the 2009, the court ruled that the Pakistani seller had met its obligation on the CIG for the sale of frozen cuttlefish, despite some goods being deemed unfit and it was a bad quality here. And the Article 37 was significant as it allowed for potential remedies for non-conformity goods. So thank you. Well, thank you for listening to me, and it was the last case here.